Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science and Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about business grade laptops. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is the need here? Well, there's a lot of workforce that requires portable PC. Now this was always there because there were executives in suits who were traveling in private jets and all that. Yeah, that's 90s. And again, even now there are people who need that. And not to mention after pandemic, the requirement for those people went up exponentially. So there is a very large amount of people, the huge group of people who need workstation grade laptops. Now here's the so these people need what we call portable PCs, and they need something what we call trust. That's the most expensive thing to them. That is the most important thing to them. It's not about the price. It's not about the performance. Is it trustworthy? Yes or no? Trustworthy simply meaning if I open my laptops, if let's say 1,000 of my employee open their office laptop, will it boot up? Will it work? Yes or no? 99.9% of the time, it should be yes. It will boot up. It will work, and it should have solid after sales support, because while you can see a lot of consumer laptops are like really good in terms of price to performance ratio, they are idiotic if anything goes wrong the moment it after warranty it's lol, and even inside warranty it's hell of a hassle to get support for it. Yeah, these people again, they have money, so that's not what we call a no fly zone. So after sales support does matter, because yes, deal, you cannot make a hardware that just has zero problem. That's not allowed by the laws of universe. So you have to design a system where you can fall back on. It's like, hey, something went wrong. How quickly can we fix it? And then generally these things are bought in bulk. We are not talking about one piece or 10 piece or 100 piece. We are talking hundreds of piece to thousands of piece. So bulk. And generally because of the priorities involved for certain high level executives, or even branch managers or things of this nature, there might be even hot spares, meaning they will have a full laptop backed up, ready to go, meaning if their laptop goes down, they just have to ping the basically PC department or tech support, and there's like, sir, new laptop, and we'll take the old one, we'll figure out what to do with it. So hot spares are kept, because again, the most expensive thing to them is downtime. They have to minimize downtime, basically reduce downtime, and must fulfill the security requirement, meaning your basic low cost laptop can have zero security, meaning it does not need fingerprint, does not have Windows facial system, does not have smart card. All of those things are okay for a consumer laptop, or for business, depending on them, they could require very strict requirement. For example, they're like, you must support smart card. Okay, you have to dedicate space for that. You must support fingerprint, you must add it. You must support fingerprint and facial recognition, and both have to be cleared in order to log into the system. Again, the normal BIOS is either or either you scan it, or you let your face to be scanned. No, sometimes they will require both of them to be done. Again, whatever the company's security requirement is, it has to be there. Okay, so must meet the security requirement. You do not get to question or can we compromise? No, this is the requirement, you have to meet it. And cost is no object to them, meaning if you're going to basically people who are doing F1, it's like, yo, this Lenovo laptop, man, it's a business grade laptop, man, it's expensive. They're like gonna throw basically the steering wheel of that. Trust me, that steering wheel of F1 is more expensive than cars. So trust me, money is no object to them. And again, same goes with many people. Many people, it's like money is no object to them. They need trust. So whole business world is about trust. Now, what about the focus? Because here's the, whenever you start to design a product, you have a certain goals in mind. For example, a consumer laptop, it's like, how cheaply can we make it? Because again, you're not gonna make a lot of profit out of it. So you want to make it as cheap as possible so you can maximize your profit margin. Business, again, you have even larger profit margin, but because again, they need trust, so the focus has to be completely different. Meaning, the focus has to be on stability and reliability. Meaning, you are no longer in a group of people where they are like, what is the FPS, what is the benchmark? They do not care about these things. They are like, nope. So focus is stability, meaning does this puppy work, and reliability, how long does this puppy work, meaning minimum 2 years. We are not talking anything lower than 2, you out. So stability and reliability. And hardware is chosen for stability rather than raw performance. For example, if you're making a gaming PC, you're cool with RTX. If you're making a CAD workstation, you're not touching RTX. You're only gonna buy Quadros or workstation from AMD. I think it's called Firestone or something like that. But basically, you get the idea. Like, it's a completely different ecosystem. You're not gonna I want FPS, man. No, you want stability and reliability. So all the hardware, basically, instead of choosing i9s and all of that sort of stuff, you will look into basically Rome from AMD or Xenon from Intel. And yes, those are available in laptops, but business grade. That's why you generally do not see them. So they are selected for a different class of ecosystem, so to say. And raw performance is not important. Stability is. Another aspect is hardware must be in what we call long support cycle, meaning you can easily see companies like, let's say Samsung, smartphone, they release a smartphone, very cheap smartphone, they barely give you updates. But you buy same company, you buy basically flagship, they will give you update for at least 3 years without any issue. And again, they have been doing it. Now they are making longer promises, but you get the point. Same goes with hardware. Basically, if you're buying Xenon, basically workstation grade hardware, be it from Nvidia, be it from AMD, be it from Intel, all of those companies will make sure that you get support very long duration. Basically, consumer support is 3 years, business or enterprise support could be 5 years or maybe even longer. So long support cycle does matter. Again, even Qualcomm has a different series of SoCs. Those are designed and supported for much longer, rather than like, it's almost like how Ubuntu has like, normal Ubuntu and then you have long-term support Ubuntu, similar things. So support hardware is chosen based on that. So you're like, oh, this hardware is awesome. Does the company, basically, let's just say Nvidia, or does Nvidia guarantee they're going to support this? No, we are not touching. Sorry, this has performance, does not matter. It has to have support, long support cycle. And adding required security feature, again, this is client specific. For example, some clients require a smart card, which to this day, I do not understand why they are so huge. Why they are so huge? They are too huge. And again, most of them are like not even that RFID tag. So you have RFID and then you have a different smart card. Why? These things are tiny. The actual microchip is microscopic, and the chip, even the chip is like size of a SIM. Unnecessary card. I really feel for the laptop engineers. Is like, how much blank space you want us to put? And again, thankfully nowadays you have Windows Facial Hello, and to double secure it, they have fingerprint and window, and both have to be cleared at the same time. Only then you can log into the system. Again, I do not know how many companies are doing that, but it was an option that is exposed if you are willing to pay for it. So whatever customer requirement is there, you have to provide it. And sometimes you also have intrusion detection, and some intrusion detections are so severe, and not to mention it's a new thing, is that back in the days you must have heard of this rumor that like people can rip out your security clearance, basically the unlocking keys from your RAM by freezing your RAM. And was that possible? For a short duration, yes. The moment that was exposed, every company worked their ass off to basically encrypt RAM itself, meaning even if you can just yeet the hardware and you take out the system and you freeze it as quickly as possible, yeah, you still can't do anything much with that. Again, that security vulnerability has been patched for expensive things, not for cheap things, for expensive things. That has been taken care of. Even Wendell is talking about like, yeah, it's no longer a viable option. So similar sort of things exist in these sort of hardware, where like you open the chassis, whole drive is encrypted, lol. So those sort of things are very seriously taken. You cannot be just like loops, because here's the deal. Whenever you are talking about this, you do not know what kind of data is in there, and data could be far more precious than the laptop. So bricking the whole laptop is also a desirable option, where it's like, oh, I lost my laptop, or like something oops happened, brick the whole damn thing. Does not matter, just brick the whole thing. So whatever security feature is required, you must accommodate that. Like, ever wondered how the heck people who are working in, like, let's say Lockheed Martin or Boeing fighter jet division, they are making sure that those oops event does not happen? Yeah, those laptops are spicy. Small things, just small things, but they are spicy. And remote management is also added. Again, it's not present in the cheap business laptops, but on higher end one, they do have it. Basically, they are almost like server, where it's just like, oh, it's a bricked, no problem. I'm going to call my IT guy. IT guy's like, I got you, fam. Go. Or it's like, oh, this is completely borked. We are sending you the hot spare. So that is also done. And again, you have to activate in BIOS level, you have to activate in the SoC level, basically the actual chip. All of those things have to be there, that business grade laptops generally do. And temper protection, secure erase, those sort of things are like, they are not even going to take you seriously if you're like, yeah, we do not have that. It's like, no, you have. And again, this is the reason why we have drilling on the laptops, because people do not understand those things well. So that's the whole point. The focus is completely different. They are not making a planned obsolescence or like, cost to performance ratio. It's completely different. Stability over raw performance. Now, what about the hardware ecosystem? That's the focus, basically. The people sitting down and working on it. What about the hardware? The hardware body language is day one built for robustness. Basically, you will not get HP, aka hinge problem. Basically, hinges are not glued to the plastic. Like, I have no idea. And again, I know because of Apple, it became a normal thing to glue metal hinges to plastics. What the hell? And again, I get it, Apple doing that, because again, it's Apple. Apple gonna piss and people gonna drink it like champagne. That's a different thing. But why the heck other companies did that and people just ran okay with it? Business grade laptops do not do that. And because again, you are buying bulk of it, so you will know it's like a one edge case scenario or a lot of normal scenarios. Yeah, the hinges are weak, they're gonna throw away. So fundamentally, you will not get that. So generally there will be far better strain relief for metal. Even if it's a plastic body, the metal going into that system generally would be, instead of just glue, it would be metal threaded, and there might be a support structure there. So you're gonna have robust structure. Basically, if you take 100 of HP laptops and 100 of HP business laptop, drop them from 1 meter, the likelihood of breaking the business laptop would be much lower compared to their consumer lineup. And keyboard, back in the old days when things used to be like solidly built and people were like, hey, how about this things last? The laptop modules were designed in such a way specifically that they're going to have certain drain holes, and that holes were through the chassis, meaning if you spilled a tea here, it's literally going to find the drain hole, drain from there, and that hole was completely through the chassis, meaning it was going to come out the other side without touching the electronics. So again, it was not waterproof, but it was spill resistant. You can find some cheap laptops now, cheap keyboards, very cheap keyboard, rubber membrane keyboards. They're like, hey, we have drain holes. I'm like, yeah, that was designed for laptops so they can last. So again, spill resistant. Does that matter? Yes. Imagine if you're doing something and some oops event happen, which again, if you're buying thousands of that, oops events are like every other day. So those sort of drain holes were designed in such a way where water or any liquid can easily go in and out of your laptop without frying anything, ideally. And sometimes even laptops, the motherboards are coated in sort of water repellent material, so it cannot be just oops because of high moisture like Apple. So fundamentally, they are designed hardware wise to be robust, and it's meant to be used and serviced. This is another aspect of it. Many laptop keyboards nowadays, they're like, what if we have ultra thin? What if you touch it and it breaks, like Apple? And they're like, you know what, we're gonna sue it, and then they lose the suit, and government is like, dude, you can't just piss on people, man. I know you can, but like, you're not supposed to do it. But again, these keyboards are completely different. They're designed to be like going 24/7. And because they know that, again, you cannot design anything that never breaks itself, everything is designed as a module, meaning even in a very thin business grade laptop, there is an easy way to just swap the keyboard. Because again, many times they will not send it to Lenovo or HP or Dell to service it. Many times the tech department will do it themselves. So for that reason, these things are designed and made available in such a way where it's like, it's just a minor inconvenience. You never want it to be major inconvenience, minor inconvenience. And batteries, generally, this is the one thing that business laptop still has, that from day one is designed in such a way that someone with competency can easily swap the battery. And batteries from day one, the connectors of the battery are designed in such a way so it can be manhandled, so to say. Inherently, meaning on paper you can have laptop batteries to be swappable, but generally companies do not make it available or charge so much that is pointless. But in business, no, that's a completely different ballgame. And things are slotted if it is possible. For example, thankfully, business people know that thou shall not solder SSD unless you are Apple. And you might look, okay, what about performance? All of that. Again, in RAM, there is a tiny advantage that you do get from soldering thing. And yes, it is tiny. There is a reason why servers do not solder it. And SSD does not make sense. That's why, like, the fastest SSD you can buy, it's not on your laptop, it's in your servers. And they are hot swappable. You can just eject that thing out of there. So trust me, if anybody is like, it's about performance, man, no, it is not. It's just about effing the customer. So business, because again, the laptop is free, the data in that SSD is priceless, they always make sure that it is swappable. Or something they can do, like if something bad happens, go to your tech support as quickly as possible, and they should be able to salvage the data as quickly as possible. Again, assuming you have the decryption key. So all those things that can be swatted. And again, this is the reason why Dell's Latitude lineup was the first where they were trying the new RAM system. Because these sort of customers do not take lightly to think, oh, your super duper hyper expensive laptop is bricked because one RAM chip was like off, or you want to increase your RAM capacity, just eat the whole thing. No, that's why the CAM module was developed. And again, Dell developed this for their Latitude lineup. And after that, Dell went to basically, like for JDAC, the organization that maintains all those things. And again, that's why it's gonna be used in a lot of business laptop in 2 years time. Not even 2 years, but you should see them in 1 to 2 years time. Again, if it is made into a slottable structure, they will make it into a slottable structure. And design language is very robust and very subtle. It's not gonna gamer, RGB with more RGB. No. They're gonna have backlight, but it's gonna be very subtle, like white, creamy, subtle, low weight, subtle. Everything is about the system is subtle. You do not want to attract attention. So that's the hardware philosophy. Robust, thou shall not glue metal hinges to plastic, and those sort of things basically. Now, what about the cost? This is where the painful part happens. Basically, you're gonna pay bare minimum 30% more, and again, exact same hardware from exact same vendor also. So 30% to 2x more premium, and 2x then you start to go from, instead of RTX, you start to get into Quadro. So you're gonna pay a hefty premium, and 2x is the lower end. Like then you can go really, really expensive, like so expensive it's not even on the website. You can go into the website, you have to find the business section, then you have to find the laptops, and then it will say get quote. That's how expensive it is. So it's a completely different ballgame, and you have to understand many of them are actually tested. Like they will specify the mill standard, we tested it to this standard, exactly like how robust laptops are tested. So this will also be tested. What does that mean? That simply means, instead of like, let's say we are mass producing it, every 100th laptop being tested, almost every one of them will be tested, and thoroughly. Not just like, okay, we open the screen, does the screen has, none of the surface level thing. Deep testing, sometimes even like burn-ins here. Basically how RE does that with their camera, because they know the camera is so expensive. It would be a really bad deal if somebody opened the new camera box and is like, lol, it does not work, which again does happen. There is a inverse sort of bath curve to it, meaning day one the likelihood of failure is very high, and then once you cross that 1 month period, no random death will happen, and then it will be stable, and then after 3 or 5 years more failures will happen. So you want to be in that flat area. So how do you get to that flat area? You run it, you stress test it. All military standard equipments have to do that, assuming they are following it properly, unless they are Boeing. So in those sort of scenario, so they are actually tested, and sometimes to very high standard. Like if you buy 10,000 of those laptops for your 10,000 people, the likelihood of even one of them being oops from day one is very low. Not zero, that shall not achieve zero, but very low. And they are actually updated regularly, meaning if there is a issue with the operating system, these people will be on it. They will be like, okay, what is the issue? How can we make sure it? How can we make it as painless as possible for hundreds of laptops to be flash booted as quickly as possible? How can they sometimes will actually communicate with the big teams of large corporations who are buying thousands of these. Is like, hey, what are the options? What do you think is the best way of flashing it? Like there is a communication. So all of those things are taken care of, and again they actually listen to the feedback, and it's all about trust. Trust me, it's one of those things that you understand once you go into business. It's not about money, it's about trust. It's like there are many companies in India that are selling you electronics for reasonable price in their own e-stores, but most people don't even trust it. Why? Because Amazon have earned that trust. So even if you are paying double, many times people are like, hey, I trust it. Even though the same supply agent, same logistics chain is used, you still trust Amazon more. Why? Because Amazon has earned that point. Same goes with every successful business. It's always about the trust. You cannot oops the trust. So these sort of companies are like, oh, it's $5,000 laptop. It's like, I'll throw the book at you. It's like, bro, don't even bother with me. But that's the whole point. Because these things are meant for such a high, robust use case scenario, they actually deserve that sort of price. And you cannot piss off this customer, because if you ever wondered how the heck HP, Dell, Lenovo and this sort of laptop companies are like actually in business, it's like because they are not printing money. The consumer laptops are not that printing money kind of systems. So how they are making money? Businesses. Because it's far more economical for them to just have a container shipped to a company, like one of those giant truck, rather than like, oh, we're gonna sell one of here, the 5 year here. No, truck. Thou shall sell truckload of it. And again, pissing off this sort of people is not advisable, because again, the backlash will be in financial book. It will not be, oh, this one person is not gonna buy my laptop. Who cares? No. This person who is paying me boatload of money with ginormous profit margin is not gonna buy it. So yeah, that's gonna be a very serious oops. So you do not piss off these sort of customers. And whole batches are cycled regularly, meaning let's say Dell sold them thousands of these laptops, and they're like, okay, Dell, again, that's why there is a representative, there is a communication. It's almost like if you're poor, your bank does not even pick up your phone. And if you're like billionaire, banks will, sir, what do you want, sir? We are at your service, sir. Same thing happens here. It's like, oh, sir, you have bought our laptops. Sir, good laptops. Are you happy with that? Yes, sir. Awesome. Sir, we think this laptop is showing its age. The battery would have been wore down. It's 3 years. We have a new lineup. Boom, done. Whole new truck. And that's why these things are generally sold in batches. So you're like, how the heck recyclers have 70, 80 of them? Batch. And again, if you are in the right place, thousands of them could be available in one go, in one day. So they are cycled regularly, and that's why pissing them off is like, let's say, oh, who will care? Let's say you piss off one batch of HP users. Yeah, next batch will be Dell or Lenovo. Bye-bye. And again, that's a big enough chunk that it will hurt. So completely different. And even their warranty period, again, not to you second hand or refurbished, no, not to you, but to original business, especially when they bulk purchased it, the warranty is completely different. Basically, in your system, you're like, press 1 for waste time, press 2 for wasting more time, press 3 for wasting your own time. Those sort of thing, it goes away. Sir, what is your problem? So, okay, sir, what exactly is the model number? What is your like service tag? Boom, sir, we are sending the invoice. Sir, bro, done. Laptop, go. And again, it's in their best interest to actually collect those laptops and actually diagnose what the hell went wrong. So they do it. Again, in the modern ones, the most weak thing is the USB-C ports. They are not ribbon connected as they used to be. Now they are soldered on the board. I'm like, the shell forgot that solder balls actually crack. That's why you're supposed to have a ribbon cable. Like you're supposed to float it to physical chassis and the board should be floated. But again, they forgot it. So warranty is also hassle-free for them. Not if you buy individually a business laptop, but if a corporation buying that, they can actually get much better, sweeter experience. And again, if both parties are working adequately, it will be a chill experience for both parties. That's why companies deal with this. It's like, yeah, why are you paying 2x more for the exact same silicon? It's just that they cannot, deal with untrustworthy scenarios. They are like, I need to trust these hardwares. And I need someone whose ass is on the line so I can trust it. So both parties will get a very chill experience. They will never be flashy. They will never be like, oh, how these companies are making, oh, business laptops. So that's why the cost is so high. And again, people are more than willing to pay for it as long as it's like and that's why CrowdStrike issue was such a big deal to people. It's like, are you telling me that so many things are running on Windows? Yeah, it is. And again, it's like, oh, why people are running Windows if it has blue screen? No, blue screens are not as big of an issue as it used to be. And these sort of laptops rarely get that. And that's why, again, never zero, but again, same. If you used any Mac system, you would have known that it also has that spinny ringer thing, where it's like, lol. So lol happens in everything, even on Linux systems. Like, no, Linux never crashes. Yeah, it does. That's why it requires so many hardwares where it's like, oh, it crashed, reboot the damn thing on a hardware level. It's like, I've actually dealt with people who work in the back end. They're like, yeah, it's rare, but it's not zero. It's not like it will never happen. They have to design safeguards and fail-safes and watchdog timers. Sometimes physical hardware of watchdog timers where they're like, oh, this server has pooped itself. Reboot. They're not going to wait for anything else. So again, that's why it matters. So what can we expect in the future? Well, many companies have basically started to slide. There used to be a time, if you look into old Lenovo systems and HP, so even HP and all that, where the power plug was always floated because they knew if you have insertion and ejection again and again, it will fatigue. No amount of solder will last forever. It will fatigue, and it could fatigue as quickly as 3 years. So they knew it was always an assembly that was like bolted to the chassis and electrical wire floated acting as a suspension. It was in the old design. New designs, solder it, baby. And because you solder it, and again, it's a high current connection, because again, USB-C could have as high as 5 amps flowing through it. In those sort of scenario, lol, even micro cracks becomes huge, because again, 5 amps flowing through micro cracks starts to crack the ball much faster. So that is a bad design. But again, this should not have happened for the business grade system. It should be something that we are dealing with poor people, but it should not happen to business grade. But it is happening. But again, problem with those companies are now is like, who else is there? They're stuck in this very weird scenario. It's like, yeah, you're cool, but it's like, it's just not as garbage as our use and throw models that we sell for civilian. It's still nowhere near as it used to be. Like 90s was like, damn, tank-like stuff. To 2000s to 2010 was like, that was the last time. Now it's like hope for the best. So fundamentally, all of the companies are making things that does not even last to according to their own standards few years ago. Basically, the old beasts are gone. They're gone. It's like you cannot just have a laptop where it's like, this is a laptop that just works. Heck, I'm not even joking. There were a lot of people buying older Lenovo's and they're upgrading the hardware. And I'm like, why are you paying so much money? You can buy such a new laptop. I'm like, okay, and now I get it. I get it now. So fundamentally, now good news is framework happened now. Like, okay, why a small company matters? Yeah, the small company has a big splash, and splash sometimes matters because I still, what do people need? Trust. What do you can have with framework? Trust. Now, like, why people would trust framework rather than a giant corporation? Is still, giant corporation acts like a giant corporation, meaning you can scream at them. Like, you can have like 2-3 batches of laptop where, like, bro, we get it, but can you please redesign the motherboard? Which again, it's a normal thing to do. That's why if you can look into laptops that has been in service for a few years, you'll say serial number 1, serial number 2, serial number 3. It's normal thing to do. Can you please make sure the USB-C does not crack itself? It's like, no, lol, what else you gonna do? Again, that's a problem. If every company does that, Dell does that, Lenovo does that, HP does that, what the hell you gonna do? But Kalong's like framework, and here's the deal. Not every corporation is giant one. So many small ones, they're like, the IT guy actually talks to the CEO. So they can have a conversation. It's like, sir, we can try business laptops, but A, they are ludicrously expensive. B, they are not as good as they used to be. So why not, let's just roll the dice. At least, let's say if we have 5,000 employees, let's risk 1,000 employees with this framework thing. And I will personally take care of it, and I'll stock all the spare parts basically. That's another part. Everything is available as stock parts. You can just buy it and keep a hot spare ready to go for every part. And it's like, if it works, more people will do that. And the moment this was announced, the moment this started to get steam, HP announces they're gonna make new repairable laptops. Dell will now make more repairable laptops. I'm like, why the heck you are? Oh, this has impact. And again, the biggest impact would be if they're double, basically 180-degree hinge design that's supposed to fold back and has touch screen. If it can survive children's hand, that will be painful to all this company, because here's the, anyone who knows children are nuclear reactors. So if your hardware can survive in children's hand, the end. We're not going to have a conversation after that. It's like mil spec, who cares? Children's safe, done. Money, done. I do not have time to discuss. Like, it survived children's hand, give it to me. Give it to me. I'm done, bro. I'm done. Discussion over. So if they can do that, that will have a big splash. So we do want that, like, because here's the deal. It's not about money. So you have to understand, trust and uptime matters far more than money. Because, for example, let's say there was an operation happening on my spine. There's somebody was drilling there. Okay, cool. Here's the, what money you will pay for that hospital will pay to its power people is like, bro, make sure that no oops event happen when somebody is in the operation theater. They're like, shut up, take money. That's how much money they will pay. Shut up, take money. They will have double backup UPS, and they will have double isolation transfer, because even if lightning falls on the damn thing, the operation theater will never lose power. It has to be that way. Otherwise, people will go poof. We have learned the hard way. So you would be shocked. Like, hospital is on a whole isolated grid. On top of that, it has double isolation, and then operation theater has double backup isolation inside it. So likelihood of operation theater losing light is very rare. Like, very, very, again, lightning could actually fall on that, but that's a different thing. So likelihood of that is very low. Why do they pay so much? Trust. So same goes with companies. Downtime is far more expensive than expensive laptop. You'll think, oh, expensive laptops. Like, dude, I can throw 10th of them away and will not even give a damn, because that's how expensive one downtime is. So let's say you have system engineers and like serious people working, and one of them goes offline. That will be like, whoa, 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 what happened? So fundamentally, and we do not want planned obsolescence, because again, if I know this, that solder blocks, if it cracks and if you're flowing 5 amps through it, it will crack faster. Every engineer knows it. That's like BGA 101, ball grid array 101. Thou shall not have high current flowing through these things. That's why, like, if you look into your SoC, it has so many smaller balls for even the same amount of current. It's simply because they want to spread it out. They have to spread it out. Otherwise, the reliability goes down. It's not that you can't do it. It's just that you can't make it reliable enough for long enough. We have learned it the hard way. So if you look into all the people who are like doing deep analysis of pin counts and all that, why so many pins are ground, why so many pins are power pins, that's the reason. They have to make it reliable. And again, it also makes the job of engineer also easier, where it's like, yeah, power rail, I'm just gonna pull power from here. So again, we do not want planned obsolescence. They have like, hey, the USB port is directly soldered. Not a good idea, but here's the deal. They have a jack that goes into that, and the jack where you are doing insertion and ejection, that is physically mounted. So there is a separation, physical separation. So likelihood of you breaking that jack that is being used, likely high. But again, what happens when you eject it, put a new one in, go home. So fundamentally, it's a good idea. And again, batteries, RAM, everything, fans, cooling units, because again, fan is a thing. It could break. It could brick itself. Things happen. How about that versus, we have to call some people. And again, you have hot spare cool, but what about that bricked part? Framework have talked with a lot of business owners who have bought them, and they are literally solving the issues. Like same way the feedback used to be with the bigger companies. Now they're like, yeah, we figure it out. Okay, you have this issue, we are working on it, we're gonna solve it. So if Framework actually pulls through, especially that children-proof model, if that survives, they're gonna make a bigger splash, and you will notice, hey, laptops are now good again. At least we can hope for that. So this was my presentation on basically business grade laptop, or what the hell that means. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.